So, if you guys haven't heard or seen, Valorant Twitter is all about the Astra hate these days. It all started with this tweet. I'm kidding, but seriously, a lot of pro players and content creators have been calling out Astra. The reason being that she's a problematic agent in many ways, and some feel that she is harming the overall health of Valorant. Hey guys, it's Eggwick, and today we're taking a deeper look at Valorant's Astra problem and how to fix it. If you like this vid, please consider subscribing. So first, let's discuss what the problem with Astra actually is. Now, I know a lot of people will say she's fine, but her weaknesses are a lot more glaring in lower ranks compared to higher ones, which, might lead you to believe that. I'll talk about that a bit more later, but please bear with me for now. The main issue I have with Astra is that she gets too much value for very little input. That might be a bit confusing, so let me explain. Astra stars are a point-and-click ability that have no counterplay besides don't stand in them. Players can see them, but that doesn't stop the inevitable suck or stun when you're defusing the bomb. Moreover, she just gets too much value compared to other agents in her class. For example, Omen's smokes need to travel, and he's also vulnerable when smoking. Brimstone smokes have a range, and he has to open up his iPad thing to use them, which also makes him vulnerable. Astra just needs to go into astral form, making her vulnerable, and in return has global smokes, which is better than Brim's, and also comes out faster than Omen's. Her supposed weakness to using her smokes is something that the other smokers already have while being miles better. I mean, you can also recall them and a brief smoke will appear in its wake. And that's just smokes, by the way. Even when using utility, many other agents are left in a vulnerable state. For example, Phoenix and Brim before throwing mollies, Sova when darting, and Reyna with her flash out. These are all states where players are not able to fire their gun. However, Astra's vulnerable state is one where she can help anywhere on the map without having to put herself in danger. Moreover, her ability to stop a push with a single suck or stun is insane because of the fact that you can't destroy it like a chamber or killjoy bot. Even Sage's slows need Sage to be in the area. And mind you, these are sentinels who are supposed to be specialists in delaying pushes and still cannot compete with the global impact that Astra has. The global part is what's insane about it, since there's barely any downside to her utility. If your team spots 5 players in a choke point, Astra can place down a star ahead of them, suck, and delay the push for a good amount of time from another site. I don't know how else to convince you that Astra isn't great for the game in her current state, because no other agent has this level of impact on the game. Adding to that, because of Astra's impact, I believe, and this is just my opinion by the way, that pro play has become slower because of it. There are numerous times where teams will just try to bait out utility before doing anything because of how oppressive the global utility is. And because pro play is extremely coordinated, Astra's main downside of having to work together with your team is negated. But you might ask, what does Astra have to do to achieve these high impact plays with amazing utility? Pretty simple actually. She just points and click and activate her skill. Sova players need to memorize lineups to have the highest efficiency. Viper and Killjoy players need to know their post-plant mollies. And even Reyna and Jett players need to react quick enough to benefit from their kit. Astra's excuse of being a big brain agent doesn't work here because the stars come up fast enough that you don't necessarily have to predict anything, and you can even just play reactionary at times. This leads me to my next segment. How do we actually fix Astra? I honestly believe that leaning into the whole big brain, predict ahead archetype will benefit her greatly. To do this, we need to make it so that her stars aren't ready to use within a few seconds. I don't know how long it should be before they're ready, but I'd imagine something like 30 or 40 seconds should make it fair. This will make it so that Astra players can't use their utility immediately to stop something, and they'll always have to plan ahead. I don't think stars should be recalled, because that just gives Astra players more room to work with, where other agents don't even have that luxury. If a Brim smoke goes down, it's gone. If a Viper wall goes down, then it's there for the round. This also leans more into that prediction style I think the devs were going for, but also it makes pulling off big stucks or big stuns with Astra a lot more satisfying because you accurately predicted what would happen 30 or 40 seconds into the future. I believe that this delay to her utility is the trade-off for the global presence. It's simple, but I think this would give her a lot more depth while making the meta more diverse. Now, I understand that these problems don't really affect the lower ranks that much, as her weaknesses are more prominent and more exploitable, but I firmly believe that this type of utility without a meaningful weakness is bad for the game. I say that because I don't think the lack of teamwork is a meaningful weakness, as that's something that will become less impactful and less prominent the higher up you go. That said, I know it's really hard to balance an agent like this. If a change like this does go through, it'll squash Astra mains in lower ranks. But I do think her current state is unhealthy, and this is a warranted change. This is just my opinion. Yeah, what do you guys think? How do you feel about these changes, and do you think Astra is fine as she is? Let me know in the comments down below, and thank you so much for 162k subscribers. This is Eggwick. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.